Hi there and welcome back to my art channel. My name's Anna and in today's video we're drawing a little witch. So for today I'm returning to one of my first loves. I used to love drawing people when, I guess when I got more serious about drawing as a teenager. That was the thing that I drew most and the thing I was best at. And last few years I've kind of neglected that. I guess when I started drawing acrylic paintings, I enjoyed doing landscape paintings and animals, and I continued doing that over the past few years, mostly with watercolour. But it's nice to return to an old love now and then, and with changing this reference into a little witch by adding a little witch's hat on top. I thought it was nice to add this little magical twist because fantasy and magic, fairies and witches were also a love of mine as a teenager, and sure, I still love fantasy and that's what I read most of all. So I thought I'd be a little creative and change up my reference. Normally I work solely from reference, and I'm just kind of working on perfecting my skill and getting better. But for this one I thought I'd change it up a little and just invent a little hat without even using a reference. Not terribly complicated drawing a hat, but anyway, I was proud of myself and I like the way this little painting turned out. It's a watercolour painting, by the way, and you can see me sketching out the little witch here. I started with the body and then added the head. And I obviously didn't go about things very systematically, but it still turned out well. Another thing I like drawing are clothes for some reason. It's just the kind of folds of the material can be really fun to draw and paint. Adding in the little ear, the nose and the eyes. I did try to measure out a little bit. I added some lines into the face to help me find my placing. But I must tell you, she does not look like her original reference. But that doesn't matter, does it? Oh, sorry about my head being in the way. And here I've gotten out my watercolours. I'm using a mix of my Schminke paints and my little Daler-Rowney travel set. A nice thing about watercolour is you can get a lot done with just one colour by just diluting it and creating a gradient. So I'm using a mix of burnt sienna and a little bit of red and yellow for the skin color, and added in a little bit of blue for the shadow areas, and just kind of using variations of those colors for the different areas. And drawing skin colors is still something I kind of struggle with because I don't do it a lot. When I used to do a lot of portraits, it was always in just in graphite, so it was just black and white. And probably the skin is the thing that took me the most time in this painting to get right. I'm just adding very thin layers of paint and slowly building up. Her mouth is slightly open, which is always difficult, and it's always dangerous when there's teeth in a reference. It can turn out very grotesque if you try to actually draw those in. I'm using a black and blue mixture for the hat. And just drawing in the dark areas first, And then using a diluted wash for the part of the hat that is in the sunlight. For the highlight, I mean. I'm drawing in the eyes, trying to preserve the highlight there. The pupil is still missing, by the way, that's why she looks a bit scary right now. And I'm using my little tiny brush for the little details on the mouth and other areas. It doesn't hold a lot of paint though, so you have to go back into your colour very often. Sometimes I think I should work on larger paintings, then I wouldn't have to come so close to my painting to see the little details. Sure, it's not good for my back. I'm sorry that my face is in the way so much. I'm using my silver black velvet brush, my smallest one, and this holds more water and it has a very fine tip, but depending on what I'm doing, it's a little harder to control because it does hold more water. So I'm painting in her strands of hair now, and I'm starting with a lighter colour and just kind of painting in, yeah, strands of hair, not individual hairs. Adding some of the darker shades now, darker strands of hair. I do find dark hair fairly easy to paint. You just leave some highlights and it usually looks fairly effective. So I'm working on her jumper, and it's a blue jumper, one of my favorite colors. And drawing creases of fabric is just a lot of fun with watercolour, because just you draw in your darker areas and then you kind of just wash out with some water, just dilute it out, and you have a gradient. And I've added some black, I think, into the blue to darken it up, or I might have just added some brown, which would also have given me a darker colour. I'm working on the little creases on her sleeve now, and I think she already looks very cute and witchy. So I do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up and possibly subscribe to my channel, and let me know if you've painted along possibly, or if you liked it or not. Here I'm using some coloured pencils to kind of refine the face a little bit. Got out my paintbrush again to work on the eyes a little more. You don't want to use your watercolours on top of the coloured pencils, of course, but I hadn't touched those areas yet. Just giving the face a little more definition, adding some shades under the eyes and around the face. And that's about it for today's video. So I hope to see you again soon in one of my next videos. Take care and bye bye.